Have you ever wondered why your favorite influencer is always single? Or have you ever been in a relationship and things seem to be going well, and then after a month or two, things just happen to fizzle out? Well, stay tuned, and we're going to talk about it. All right, gang. So today we're here to talk about the whole facts, or your female history report. Oftentimes I have to tell my friends this, and hopefully they tell their friends. But oftentimes it seems that people forget that this type of a report is out there. People just forget that it exists. However, it does. And I don't think it. So men know that it exists, but we don't talk about it to women, right? We use it, right? But we don't talk about it to women. So I want to get into what I'm referring to. So your female history report is pretty much a timeline of a woman's history, right? Her dating history, her maintenance record, pretty much her overall score in the dating market, right? It's similar to, I'll put this as an analogy. It's similar to a vehicle history report, right? When you go to a used dealership, right? And you want to know the intricacies of a vehicle that you like, right? Because you just looking at the outer appearance, that's not going to do anything for you. You have to make sure that the engine's well. You have to make sure that the maintenance has been kept up to date. You have to make sure that there wasn't too much wear and tear on the engine, or transmission is good, stuff like that, right? It's similar to that, just in a dating sense. So, say for instance, if a woman has too many short-term relationships, or she's had a few incidents with some guys, or she's just not, she doesn't seem like she would be a dependable vehicle, right? She doesn't seem like she would last to that 300,000 mile mark, right? And given recent history, chances are she won't make it. But so that's typically what your female history report is, right? Your dating history report, right? And let's just talk about the types of seekers out there, right? The seekers are primarily men. You have a few different types. You have the flosser, right? Which is the guy who typically is shooting for the finest thing out there. He don't care about no history report. He may see it and still be like, oh man, this is a Maserati. This is a Porsche 911. I'm still for to buy it, right? Without checking the engine, without checking the maintenance, without even caring, right? Whereas you have the other type of seeker, right? You have the, what can I call him? The smart seeker. I just call him the smart seeker. He's actually going to do his due diligence and read through the report, right? He's going to read and make sure that she's up on her maintenance. He's going to make sure that the engine's not damaged. He's going to check the transmission. He's going to make sure that her tires are not bald, right? And what I mean by that is he's going to make sure that there's still some tread left on her tires, right? Because he don't want to hop in and slide off the road. So the smart seeker is typically the one that is making his purchase for the long haul, right? He wants to go the distance. Whereas the flosser, he's primarily just going to be there for not too long, right? He's going to show off in the whip for a little while and then go on to the next vehicle. That's just typically his lifestyle. And what that should mean to you is these different types of seekers, right? If your history report is bad or questionable, that could lead to unwanted traffic to you, right? DMs be flooded by a bunch of those flossers, especially if you're seeking someone like one of the smart seekers. It could lead to a lot more wear and tear on the body. It could lead to more reportings on your history report, right? And just in general. So you typically want to try and limit the amount of entries put in on your incident report, right? So, say for instance, and you definitely don't want your report to end up online, right? Typically, a female inspection report is typically held locally, right? And it's accessible by the seeker depending on his network, right? The people that he knows, that he has around him, oftentimes it's locally, right? However, when you have these things like these Facebook post groups, and are you with my man, and those apps and shit with the T apps and all that, when all of that stuff, that's why this stuff's so popular, right? Because it gives you glimpses into the whole facts, right? Some of that stuff ends up online. That's the worst thing ever that could happen, is to have your history report end up online, right? Because online is treacherous, right? And I told you, those flossers, they want quick interactions, right? And if they can interact from the comfort of their own home, right? And they already have seen your report, right? So say for instance, if you're typically open to get to know guys, right? You're not standoffish, you don't have that stuck up attitude, that could be a gift and a curse, because you can come across one of the smart seekers, the guy who's looking for love, the guy who wants that long-term relationship. Or you can come across the flosser, which is the guy who is not thinking about love, right? But he's seen that you have some entries here in this incident, the inspection report, so you have interactions with men. Hopefully, he got some riz on the DMs. He has a good shot, or he hopes that he has a good shot, right? So once your history report's online, man, it's ugly. Now, what I want to do is I want to think of a way to prepare a bad history report, but I haven't thought of it yet. So that'll be my part 2 to this video, how to repair it. But hopefully this here has explained it well. I'll just do a recap, right? So a whole facts is a female inspection report. It's pretty much your dating history, right? Categorized in entries. So say for instance, like I said, you had those short-term relationships not leading to marriage. There may have been some things that you were good at, some things that you weren't. I said make sure that the maintenance is done. You haven't had any incidents. I know this shit sounds like I'm talking about a car, but I'm really not. I hope y'all get it. Make sure that the engine's good, tires good, transmissions been checked. Making sure that you're safe, right? So check how many owners you've had, and that's pretty much your inspection report. And touched on the main 2 types of seekers are the flossers, right? Mr. Right for now, and then you have the smart seeker, which is the one who's perhaps looking for love. He wants to find Mrs. Right, and he's there for the long-term play, right? And what this should mean to you is, hopefully, you haven't had enough entries to push your whole facts beyond just locally, right? Because once it gets beyond locally, like I feel bad for like influencers and stuff like that, the people with notoriety, because even though they drop dead gorgeous, man, like their pro facts is out there. So it's like, and especially with like Twitter and stuff like that, come on, guys. And the internet does not forget, man. It's just an online archive. It's going to store every single interaction. Every time you go public with someone, man. Every time you have an issue or an exposure or whatever it is, all of that shit is just entries on your history report, right? So, say for instance, you've been messing with a guy, he may have been a smart seeker, but you've been dealing with flossers, right, the past few purchases, and he was fine until he checked that Profax and it came back bad. So now it just feels like he doesn't want to engage, right? The juice doesn't feel worth the squeeze is what I'm pretty much trying to say. And like I said, hopefully your female inspection report doesn't come online, because that's just when it takes it to a whole nother level. You'll get to the point to where guys are just playing the role for a time. They're not even taking you seriously. Yeah, that's tough, man. But like I said, I'm just making this for those of you who need to know, and for my homegirls as well, because I'm tired of telling them this shit, man. This exists, but it's like we don't like, man. We know it exists, but like we don't talk to you guys about it. We just know about it, and when we need to pull it, we pull it, right? I.e., through our network, right? Our peer network. So that's typically it, man. Hopefully you like this information and you find it valuable. Hopefully, if you are a woman that's new to the market, you still have time, right? You have time to focus on just keeping up the maintenance and keeping yourself in tip top shape. And hopefully that smart seeker will seek you out. But typically, with the more entries that's put in on a female inspection report, it's typically going to lead to the flosser, right? The flosser, he's like I told you, he's checking for the opportunity. He's not there for the long haul. So if you look like a Ferrari, man, chances are he's gonna try to lease you out for a few months. So hopefully this information was good for you. If you guys need me to touch on anything else pertaining to this, like I said, I'm coming with part 2. But if there's more information that you need on this, man, put those comments down in the comment section. I got you for sure. And more power to you, ladies, man. Hopefully you keep your inspection report right, keep your whole facts in check, man, because that can make or break a relationship. That can make or break a marriage, or even a man's notion to want to put forth the effort to make something last. So with that being said, man, it's your boy Travis Got Motion. And until the next one, man, I will see you guys later, man. Peace.